Video mare quante bello, spira tanto sentimento.
So welcome everyone to our Classical Crossover Magazine interview series. Today we're going to be talking to Karl Loxley.
Hey!
Hi Karl, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm just hoping my internet connection's good and we're going to be fine.
Awesome. How are you dealing in the lockdown and?
Well, like all performers, we're all kind of questioning when we're going to perform to an actual real life audience rather than just a virtual online audience, because it's just not the same. I did an online concert a few weeks ago and it was great fun, but you kind of finish a big song and then the audience reaction isn't there, so it's a very strange feeling to be chatting to an audience and you can't hear them. So that's intriguing, but I just can't wait to get back to performing full time, really.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You've been doing, though, a lot of great videos online. So I was wondering, I think a lot of people are probably in the same spot where we're trying to figure this out. Like, did someone recommend your equipment to you, or kind of how did you get your setup?
Oh, well, I kind of did the best thing. You go on YouTube and you type in best vocal mic, and then it has things in your price range. And my last album I recorded with a Neumann, I think it was M149. So I thought I like the sound of Neumann, so they're good quality microphones. So I went for one of them. I treated myself.
Awesome. And do you do your own mixing, or you have someone do that when you're at home, or you do everything?
So I'm a complete idiot in mixing whatsoever. I can't stand to listen to my own voice again and again. When I did my album, I couldn't be in the room while someone was mixing. I was like, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna let you mix everything, and then you send me the best product.
That's great trust, though.
Then I can listen to it.
I feel like I was the same. My sister and I did an album, but the only problem was, like, I'm so controlling that I was like, but I must listen to it. So it was torture. So that's awesome. You could control and let the control go. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think being a performer, you're your worst critic, more than anyone, because you're never actually looking. You are looking for the good things, but more than ever, you're looking for things you don't like. So that's what makes it really difficult. And I find if in the mixing process, because we all do so many takes, you let someone else's ear take what they think is good for you, and then if you hear it for the first time and your own self-critique doesn't find any fault in that, I think you found someone who can mix your voice really, really well. So I have a wonderful guy called Martin Quinn at Jam Studios in Ireland, and he does all my mixing for me. But for most recently, for a few bits I've done on YouTube, I've done my own mixing. So that's been kind of something I've learned during lockdown, is to try and be a bit more, rather than just sing, to actually learn a bit about mixing and what you like, because I think it can only do you good when you go into a studio and you have an idea of what you like, so it's and also I think it's always good to have people who can mix for you, but not to always rely on that. It's good to have a go yourself.
Yeah, that's awesome. Your quality has been really great online. So whatever you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
It's going well. So I wanted to kind of go back a little bit to when you started singing. And I remember hearing that you sort of had a choice between music lessons and driving lessons. Is that true?
Yes. Well, it was really strange, because I never kind of thought I'm going to have a career in music whatsoever. I was 17 years old. I really wanted to go into model making and animation. I love like Tim Burton, and I really wanted to go down that route. But when I was at what we call it sixth form college here, we did Les Miserables, and they in my school production, they cast me as Jean Valjean, and I could just about sing in tune. So I thought, well, so I'm not going to make a complete idiot out of myself. I should really go get some singing lessons so that I can sing it and I don't break down on stage. And I did, and people go, "Oh, you're sounding good. You're sounding really." I was like, "Great! I'm getting lots of nice compliments here. I feel good about this." So I carried on. And then I auditioned for a musical theatre school just outside of London called the Guildford School of Acting. And I got just auditioned, and I got a full scholarship to go there. So I was like, "Oh, I guess I'm gonna do this."
Is that like a university or a high school, the acting school?
Yeah, so it's like university, yeah.
Okay.
So I did a degree in professional musical theatre. And then I kind of realised there's only probably a few musicals that I really liked. But I always loved this classical crossover style of singing because it kind of mixes, you know, songs from Les Mis and Phantom of the Opera, but also pop songs, and you can put them in this genre of music, which is so addictive. I'm a fan of classical crossover, so when I sing it, I know what I would want to hear. So I think that's another reason why I'm probably so critical on myself, because I know as a fan what I'd want to hear from someone.
Oh, that's great. That's like, I think the more you know and appreciate the genre, I guess some people are kind of pushed that way as, you know, it's in school, they learn classical. That's, you know, the way that they're taught. But it's kind of cool that you came to it organically and you found it and you loved it, and that's where you went to.
Yeah, I think also like the latest YouTube video I did Out There from Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always loved that score, even as like as a kid. I just remember thinking, wow, this sounds amazing. You know, the orchestra, the choir, the voices of the singers in that. And yeah, I think Disney had a huge effect on me as well. Alan Menken especially, because when I was at school, we did Little Shop of Horrors as well. There's some video out there, but I think I burnt every copy, so it shouldn't be. But yeah, that really got me into singing. And I think with Alan Menken as well, it's quite challenging. And I think as singers, we love to sing something that's challenging and to deliver it well. And if people say, "Wow, you're doing a good job of this," it's quite rewarding, I think, this genre of music.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you brought up the Disney covers. So I was looking, and you've done a couple from Frozen.
Oh, that was a while ago. I think that was like 2015.
Was it really?
And it was really strange because when I put it on for the first time, it got a few hundred views, and it's kind of gone up quite a bit. And I actually watched it for the first time the other day since 2015, and I was like, I can't stand it. I need to delete it off my YouTube channel. But I was like, but look at all these nice comments I'm getting, but this is why you know, I critique so much, because I hear that vocal and I think, God, I don't sound great. But but to some other people, they're going, "Oh, that sounds great." And I'm like, no, listen to my Never Enough cover, which I'm really proud of, and I really like the vocal on that.
I'm trying to hold my breath. Let it stay this way. Can't let this moment end. You set off a dream in me, getting louder now. Can you hear it echoing? Take my hand, will you share this with me? 'Cause darling, without you Oh, the shine of 1,000 spotlights, all the stars we steal from the night sky will never be enough, never be enough. Towers of gold are still too little. These hands could hold the world, but it'll never be enough, never be enough. Shine of 1,000 spotlights, all the stars we steal from the night sky will never be enough, never be enough. Towers of gold are still too little. These hands could hold the world, but it'll never be enough, never be enough.
No, it's very nice that people like what I do, and yeah, I'm very happy when people come back to me and say, "I love your voice," and I think it's terrible. So,
but that's what I had. I had one teacher tell me, because I think, again, like you said, we're so down on ourselves, but they were like, even on your worst day, it's still pretty good. So when to you, you're like, "Oh, that was terrible," the audience is just like, "What? That was amazing. What are you talking about?"
Yeah, that's it. I think because you know what you are at 100%, and when you can't do 100%, whether that's like in a show or I've done shows where I thought, "Oh, I sound terrible, and then the audiences stand up on their feet and they're like, "Wow, your voice is amazing," and then you do a show where you think, "Wow, I've nailed this tonight." And then you don't get the reaction you thought you might get. So it is really interesting how you perceive your voice and how people perceive it when they hear it live. Yeah.
So what about a song kind of draws you to it? Because you did do something like Never Enough that's traditionally been done by female, and I love when we get a different voice to cover something like that. I think it's just awesome. So like, how do you pick your material?
I remember it was the 26th of December 2017, I think, and it was the day The Greatest Showman came out at the cinema, and there'd been a lot of hype about the score before the film, and I just remember hearing that song and thinking, "Wow, this is the best." To me, it's the best song in the show, in the film, and I thought maybe I could give this a go. I think with songs, especially in kind of musical films, if they're about a character, in that if you can't take them out of the context, you probably shouldn't touch them. But that song is like, you could sing it anywhere in a concert setting and it would be relatable to an audience. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I also, because it's just so challenging, you know, when you hear that for the first time, I was like, wow, what an incredible vocal on that song, which Lauren Orred did. And I thought, I'm going to have a go at that. And my dad at the time, he said to me, Karl, you don't want to sing that song. It's not a good song for you. And he's worse than Simon Cowell. And my mum was like, oh, Karl, I've just heard this song, and I think you should sing it. And so I decided to do it on my last album, Solo Amore. We did a very kind of basic music video. When my friend Kieran, who did my video, told me how we were going to do it, I was like, I'm not really sure how that's going to work. And he was going, more arm movements, you know. And I was like, I'm going to look like I'm trying to be a ballerina here. And then I saw the video and I was like, wow, I didn't expect it. I mean, he's a very talented videographer, but I didn't expect it to look that good. And thank God I did do it, because it's had 2.2 million views now. So and that comes out of nowhere, you know. I didn't plan it that way. It just happened. So, and I've gained a lot more kind of followers from that video. So I'm very grateful to everyone who's seen it, bought the album, and got behind me, really.
Now, your album came out last year, was it, or the year before?
It was, oh my gosh, because I recorded vocals for it in 2018, the end of 2018, and then it came out September 2019. Yeah.
And was that one of the fan-backed albums, or was that something you did?
Yeah.
It was, okay.
Yeah, it was. So the first one I did, an album called Everything I Am, which I did when I came off the Voice in the UK. And I didn't enter it into any kind of music charts. This was an album because people were asking for an album. So I was like, I'm going to make an album. Yeah. So I did that, and people got behind me, and it was really nice, and it went down very well. And then a few years passed, and people were saying, when are you going to do another one? And the thing is, with our music, it's very expensive. It's not just piano, guitar, drums, keys. You know, it's a lot more than that. You need like an orchestra So I thought, how should I do it? Should I go full out, or should I not? And I decided I'm going to go full out on it. You know, it was kind of a present to myself as well as an album. So I did it, and I got a lot of people back me with it, which was nice. And it got to #1 on the classical iTunes chart and #3 in the official charts. So amazing. I couldn't really beat Andrea Bocelli, or so I thought to have my name just under Andrea Bocelli, and I think it was Naldi at the time. I was quite pleased with that. So
yeah, that's impressive.
All in all, it was it's not bad, is it? So I was really pleased with how it did, and even the response now. You know, for me, I recorded it in, I think it was October 2018. So I've kind of lived with this dream project of mine for ages, but people are still finding me on YouTube because of the videos and listening to it. So that's really special.
And you've had supporters that started, did you start busking while you were in school or after school?
No. So this was, I think it was about 2013. I started doing this classical busking, and it was my mum's idea, and I thought, I'm not doing that. I'm professionally trained. I'm not going to stand there in the square and sing. And I'm so glad I did, because I think I gained more following from that than when I was on The Voice. Because so many people, because it's in Stratford upon Avon, which is a very touristy place. It's where William Shakespeare was born. If you don't know, I'm sure you do. And so many people from all over the world saw me singing, would post videos on YouTube, and they've followed me ever since. I still have people who followed me from the exact day I started to sing to now. You know, I don't go out much anymore because I tend to be away singing on lovely cruise ships a lot. Well, not this year, unfortunately,
yeah.
but I did sing quite a lot. So, but who knows? And it was really great as like a kind of for me to make a living from singing, because I would put on a show and then I would use the busking to sell the show. So I could hand out promotional leaflets, you know, to people. And it worked really, really well, because it's just word of mouth. You know, if people see you and they're like, what are you doing here? Why are you singing Nessun Dorma in the streets? you know, well, I'm promoting my show. Oh, okay, we'll come to this. So it was, it was really, really great to gain more kind of followers and exposure, really. Or word of mouth. I think that's the best way to promote yourself, is when somebody else says, have you heard this singer? Then you listen to them. I mean, that's how I listen to music. If someone recommends someone to me, I'm more likely to listen to them. Yeah.
And did you find from doing that, it makes music very accessible, so did you find like maybe younger people than you would expect came to your shows because of the busking and seeing you on The Voice? And
yeah, I think because I get so many people come up to me to say, oh wow, you're an amazing opera singer, and I go, well, I'm not an opera singer. I have done a little bit of opera, but like I don't just sing opera. I try and sing a bit of everything, and I think that's why it's so accessible. And it kind of, in my show, when I perform on cruise ships with my show, I try to put something in for everyone. So like a big band song, I sing 1,000 Years, you know, and all these songs, I think if you give them a hint of classical, they're in the same genre and your voice doesn't change. I think if I was to sing in a really poppy way and then sing in an opera way, it would confuse the audience. I think you've got to keep all the songs in your voice. Yeah.
I've heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do ya? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall and the major lift, the bow for the king composing hallelujah, 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 Your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof. Her beauty in the moonlight overthrew ya. She tied you to her kitchen chair. She broke your throne and she cut your hair. And from her lips she drew the hallelujah. 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 that you hear at night, it's not someone who has seen the light. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
I think your voice, it feels very natural. It's almost got a speech quality to it. So it's one of those things that helps it to cross over a little bit easier than, you're doing your style, but you're doing it in a very natural way. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like there's a kind of a put on opera sound, and then there's the one that happens organically just by the technique. And
yeah, and I think that's like, my hero is Andrea Bocelli, and I think when I hear his voice, he's whether he's singing Nessun Dorma, for example, or he's singing the prayer, or the song he sung with his son, Fall on Me. He's not, to me, he doesn't sound operatic, but to somebody else he might do, but it's all in the same voice. And I think because I'm such a fan of his, I think I try and I love this music. I try and take what I can learn from great classical crossover singers and try and deliver that myself.
So I read that you're very into vocal technique, and I'm fascinated by it also. So I was just curious to like some of the things that you've kind of learned, and you also give voice lessons, right? So what are some of the things you look for to teach?
Yeah. So I think you've got to, if you're going to learn to sing, you've got to sing something you enjoy. And I think that's the problem with a lot of voice teachers. A student comes in and they're like, you need to learn this. I think you should let people sing what they want to sing, but in your kind of like warm-ups, I think classical singing is like the ballet of dance. If you're a street dancer, if you can learn your technique in ballet, you're going to be a better street dancer. And I think the same with singing. If you learn a good solid technique, then it can open up whatever you want to sing. I think technique is key, but at the same time, I think you've got to enjoy it. And I think sometimes with singers, it can be too technical. And because it's so technical, you lose, you lose what was so nice about singing. Am I making sense?
No, completely. I think sometimes it's, the intentionality of the text and the emotion that'll really carry you. I mean, you could be thinking of it from, now this is my passaggio and now I need to, but sometimes if you just give in to the meaning of the song, it'll just get you where you need to go.
It will, absolutely, because, when we talk, we naturally breathe, we naturally talk. But when you sing, you don't, I think you've got to get the breathing. Breathing is so important. My old singing teacher said to me it was 60% breathing. The rest is a load of other stuff, but the breathing is so important. Yeah.
Absolutely. So you've also done some songwriting. We mentioned your Christmas. I believe it's called I See the Light. Is that right?
See the lights. Okay. Yeah, not see the light from Tangled. I wish I wrote that, but I didn't.
That would have been great, right?
Yeah, that would have been great. But yeah, I mean, I would never ever class myself as a songwriter, even though in lockdown, I made it my goal to write a lot of songs, because I think with this genre of music, as much as people like to hear the same old stuff, you know, I think, oh, if I sing Time to Say Goodbye Tonight, is everybody going to have heard it so many times they won't want to hear it again? But they always do. People in this genre of music know what they want to hear. But I think in order for it to move forward, you've got to keep adding the repertoire, you know? So give people what they want, but slide in one or two originals, you know, into a show. And it kind of opens you up as an artist as well. And you put your own kind of stamp, I think, on who you are.
So that particular song, I was reading in our previous interview with you, you had the tune in your head for like a year or something, and then you finally...
Do you know what? It just happens, like, and this is what's happened in lockdown. Like, I've just been trying to get outside because we've had amazing weather here. I've just been, you know, going for a walk. I live in the countryside, and I just, you know, you just start humming like a tune in your head, and suddenly you find something you really like, and then you kind of start add lyrics to it. And I've been doing a lot of co-writing with Martin Quinn, who produced my album. And I'll say, Martin, I've got this idea for a song. This is what I've written so far. It might just be a chorus or a verse. I send it to Martin, and then we do it like a puzzle. Then he sends me back something he's worked on, and then I add kind of a melody to it, and then more lyrics to it, and then we just build the blocks. And I think once you've kind of built the verse and the chorus, you kind of have a structure for the song, whether you want to throw a bridge in there. It's really fun. It's so creative, and I think also, like, being a fan of classical crossover, if I'm writing a song and I think I don't really like this, I'll just move on to another song, and I may revisit that song. You've got to fall in love with it. You know, it's like buying a house or buying a car. You've got to fall in love with that song, what you're doing, in order for you to believe in it enough that people would want to listen to it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's, again, gets back to that authenticity that you had, that your fans see in you, and then they're able to connect with you. And absolutely, it's a beautiful gift you have.
Thank you so much, Natasha. Thanks.
So I just we should mention The Voice, because that was
a big thing. That.
So what was that experience like in terms of, like, I mean, you're performing for these huge audiences. Had you really done that before, or was that kind of new, the live audience bit? I'd
never done TV before. So I learned a lot about TV. But it was, for me, I wouldn't change a thing. I had such a great experience doing it. I learned so much. I think because on that day I did the blind audition where they turn their chairs for you, we had to be camera ready by 7 a.m. And I didn't perform Nessun Dorma till 10:30 in the evening.
Wow.
So by the time it came for me to sing Nessun Dorma, I didn't have a voice. I was so fatigued. I was so tired. I couldn't sing. And I think also your emotional levels are really high, because you don't, on a show like The Voice, you don't just walk out there and suddenly they're all there, and you've gone through other rounds before. So it's a long emotional journey. When I was on it, it took about 6 months for the full process I was on. I think about 7 actually, or even 8 months, the whole process. So, you know, when you know you're doing this thing and it's going to be shown in front of 9 million people, that can play on your mind. So
yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So, but the thing is, you can only do what you can do. You know, at the end of the day, you're human. So, You just got to go out there, give it your best shot. And for me at the time, I didn't really know what I was going to get from it. All I knew is that I wanted to have a career in singing. And because I did that show, it's allowed me to make a living from singing. And I couldn't ask for more from what that show has given me. So, yeah, if you want to go for The Voice, go ahead, go and do it. But know who you are as an artist. That's my advice to anyone who goes on like a reality TV show. Know the music you want to put out there. Because if just for example, if I had a few other songs which I was going to sing instead of Nessun Dorma, would you like to know what they were?
Yes, please.
So they were really contrasting. I was going to sing Bat Out of Hell, Meatloaf. Okay. That was one of them. And the version of Let It Go I sung on my YouTube video. I was going to do that. But I really wanted to sing Nessun Dorma. And I had to sing all those songs in front of the producers. And they said, yeah, we'll go with Nessun Dorma. So I was quite pleased with that. So I think always know what you want to sing, definitely.
And you got a mentor from that. You were able to work with Tom Jones, and he continued to help you. So you're now teaching lessons during lockdown, is that right?
Yeah, so, oh my gosh, so as well as writing, I've been teaching some singing to people, which has been great. And yeah, I've also been doing these song dedication videos I've been doing, which have been amazing. I kind of thought, would anyone like a song dedication video from me? Turns out people did. So that was great. So I've been busy. In fact, just before this meeting, my voice is so tired. I just had to sing Nessun Dorma to someone. So yeah, it's kept me busy. So that's been really, really great.
That's awesome. So hopefully when this all, gets to a place where we're able to go out and perform again, what are some of your goals that you have looking forward? Another album?
Yes.
Okay.
but maybe in a different way. So yeah, we'll see.
Stay tuned.
But yes, of course I want to do another album, but it's it's such a big if I was to do the same album again, like what I just did, it's a massive financial burden to throw into something, so but we'll see. Of course there's always plans to do another album, but it's just timing is everything.
Absolutely.
In our business. Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for talking to us, and I'm so excited that you agreed to be part of the concert.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. I really can't. That's going to be great. And thank you so much, Natasha. You've been from me and all the other artists. Thank you so much, because you've really put our names out there, and it's been wonderful. So thank you.
Thank you guys so much. I mean, if you weren't around, we wouldn't be inspired to do anything. So everyone listening to you is so appreciative, especially this time to have your music to listen to. So great. So
thank you, Natasha. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karl.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Come tu chiediemente, cosciata tu fai suonar.